I wanted to talk about just the learnings from the first hybrid war. Um, but then I thought, let me, up level the discussion a little bit, looking at the audience. Uh, and what I will do is, in the end, I'll tell you where to maybe, get more details on that hybrid war report. It's a very interesting report. I think all of you must read it. It's on our website. If you just search "learning from the first hybrid war, Ukraine war," you will get that full report, and almost reads like a racy novel book, but it's reality. It's not fiction. so, I'll talk about advancing cyber defense in the age of strategic competition, right? And I think if you look at things geopolitically now, the competition is not just about land borders. The competition is about uh, who's progressing how fast. The competition is about trying to slow down the adversaries, etc., etc., right? And although we as a country, as India, are very different. We don't try to pull down anyone. We try to take everyone along. Even our theme for as we took the G20 presidency, our theme is one world, one family, one future. But not everyone thinks like this. So we need to be, while we are the good guys, we need to be prepared. So we publish an annual report called the Microsoft Digital Defense Report. And what this does is that, because we serve billions of consumers and businesses globally, it puts us at a very unique vantage point where we get to see things which others don't see. So, for example, we synthesize about 43 trillion signals every day using very sophisticated data analytics tools, right? In the last 1 year, we blocked 37 billion email threats. We blocked 34.7 billion identity threats. And we track about 2.5 billion endpoint signals, and we analyze them daily. There are about more than 8,000 engineers and professionals who are working to keep our customers and our ecosystem secure. And obviously, there are multiple set of partners, who are working with us, right? And the aim of this report, the MDDR, the Microsoft Digital Defense Report, is twofold. One is to illuminate the evolving cyber security landscape. How is the threat landscape evolving? And two is to share knowledge and empower our partners, our customers, our constituents, for them to be ready on what's coming, what's happening, and what can they do to be ready. So if you look at advanced persistent threats, this is the sample of nation-state actors and their activities, right? So if you look at, there are signals emerging that are on the map, and all these groups are named. So Russia, Iran, North Korea, many of these are becoming hotspots of activity by cyber criminals, by independent groups, by state-backed groups, who are constantly engaging in cyber warfare with even friendly states, even countries who they are so-called friendly with. They are always engaging in espionage and some kind of back-end warfare, right? And I think what the nation states present is some of the most sophisticated threat landscape, because they have unlimited backing, they have unlimited power, vast amounts of money. So they are far more sophisticated than private cyber militia, so to say, right? So I think as we identify nation state groups, we also keep working on nullifying them, and removing them from the network, right? And making sure that they are not harming the ecosystem as much as they would want to. Okay. Then if you look at the evolving threats, if you look at the evolving state threats, what are the kind of industry and sectors being targeted, right? So if you look at geopolitics in this sense, that the political developments are they have priorities, they have multiple things happening. But for a enemy state, for an adversary, they would want to inflict damage uh, through the economy also. So if you look at information technology at 22%, that's one of the sectors being targeted by other nation state bad actors, right? Then you would be surprised, right? But think tanks, NGOs, who would think that NGOs can get targeted or think tanks get targeted by cyber attacks? But they are, because cyber attacks is not just malware or ransomware; it's also disinformation, and removing the right information, inserting false information, spreading disinformation in the citizens. So many of those things, right? So and also I think in general critical infrastructure is at the radar of all nation states, and that's why if you look at the stuff we are doing with our bodies, like I4C, like NCI, PC, etc. And you heard General Pant in the morning, the office of NCSC, that we want to make sure that our critical infra is secure, and we don't get to a stage where critical infra falls off the track, right? Because that will have major impact on business and economy. So very, very, critical to know that I see many, friends from the armed forces, that the attack, cyber attack especially, might not happen the way conventional attacks happen. And I think one of the examples, if you read the Ukraine report, was that the actual war started many hours before the first tanks rolled into Ukraine. And the first attacks happened on data centers and on critical infrastructure data centers by cyber criminals sponsored by the other nation, right? Also, from a key takeaway standpoint from nation state threats is, one, they will target critical infrastructure, particularly IT sector, BFSI, financial sectors, IT supply chains. China is expanding its global targeting, especially smaller nations in Southeast Asia, to gain intelligence. I think one thing we have observed is that many of the state actors are very, very patient. They can be in your network for many years without causing any real harm or harm you can see, but they are collecting intelligence, right? North Korea has targeted defense and aerospace companies, cryptocurrency exchanges, and obviously, there are other nations which are growing aggressive as we speak. So very important to make sure that as we think of cyber defense, it is not just from a armed forces standpoint, but defending our critical infrastructure and everything which is linked to our economy and other things. Obviously, overall cybercrime continues to rise as cybercrime is becoming industrialized. There are ransomware as a service, services available. There are people available where you can go buy simple software and you can become a bad actor yourself. So it has becoming more and more sophisticated as we go. And I think the threat of ransomware extortion is becoming more audacious. We saw some attacks, at our side, AIMS, some others recently. And also, I think the most effective, the way we see that if you want to disrupt, we also see that basic, how would I say, uh, basic precautions are not being taken. Like there are so many systems, if we track India as a country, where the patches have not been updated for many years. People have not updated with a new patch, hence they are unsecure. People have been using, same 1 2 3 4 5 6 as password at their, PCs, same password at multiple devices, same password for multiple sites. Even critical sites don't have two-factor authentication, right? And these are simple steps which make it difficult for the cyber criminal, but and it's 30 seconds, but we are still not doing it. So very important that we at least to start with, get to multi-factor authentication, get to making sure that the security patches are being used frequently, and there is a zero trust principle, right? In the network, in your organization, you have to behave like you don't trust anyone, and that's how the security will get built at the network level. And obviously, as I mentioned, 98% of protection will come from 98% of basic security hygiene. I think it is an incumbent on all of us to make sure that we do that, because by not doing that, we are increasing the risk and increasing the cost of staying compliant, staying risk free, right? So, key call outs: enable multi-factor authentication, apply zero trust principles, modern anti-malware, and protect your data, right? So I'll end at that. But quickly, I think just search for two things as you go back to your office and homes. One is the Microsoft Digital Defense Report. It's a very useful report. Please download it, read it, and share it with your other colleagues, other friends. And the second one, as I mentioned earlier, learnings from the world's first hybrid war. That's not a very long report, not a very long, a few pages, but very interesting, and gives you a lot of insight on how nation states are thinking about cyber war and what we as a nation need to do to stay prepared. Thank you so much.